All right, we're going to try this again. My apologies to be late to my own party. I was on and ready to go, or so I thought, and alas, technical difficulties despite practicing and preparing. So thank you for those of you who waited or are going to come back. I know not everyone may be watching this live. You may be watching this on replay, in which case, good for you. You didn't have to wait. So we're going to get started since we are getting started a few minutes late. I'm going to flip my camera so that I can see who's watching and see your comments. If you're here, I would love you to introduce yourself. Oh, it's telling me I can't rotate my phone. Never mind. I'm going to stay this way. But I can see a few people are starting to watch. So please, yes, introduce yourself in comments. And please feel free to share your reactions in comments as well as we go through the catalog together. So we're starting with the catalog tour. Hopefully we'll finish that before or by 8:30, in which time I will do a crafting demonstration. And then hopefully we'll finish that before or by 9 o'clock when we'll do some prize drawings. So I'll be giving you information throughout. For now, all you need to know is if you have a catalog, Stampin' Up's new 2020 to 2021 annual catalog, go ahead and get that out. If you don't have the hard copy, you can follow along in PDF. I posted the link to the PDF on this Facebook page earlier today at 8 a.m., so you can check that post to get that. It's on Stampin' Up's website under catalogs. I love to save the PDF to, I have an iPhone, so I use iBooks, but any software like that that you may have on your device can be great. Then you can usually search through it to find certain prices or certain product names. You can also bookmark things just like you would a hard copy. As you can see, I've got my bookmarks here we're going to go through. Hey Sally, hey Renee, I'm so glad you all are here. Keep introducing yourselves, commenting, reacting. I'd love to feel like I'm with you all virtually. All right, so we're going to get started. So, opening up to page 1, very good place to start, right? Oh, and I also should mention that with the PDF this morning at 8 a.m., I also posted my catalog scavenger hunt, which is just a fun way to explore through all this. So if you haven't filled that out already, you can win prizes that way. I'll explain that more later. But this video giving us a tour is going to be some good hints for that. Let me just say that. So this very first inside cover page of the catalog shows you some places besides the catalog that you can get good inspiration from Stampin' Up using their products. So they've got YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, other things as well, of course, but those are some great ways. I personally like to watch video tutorials on YouTube. I make video tutorials on YouTube, so you can find handcrafted gifts there. And I like to use Pinterest to find project ideas, not necessarily the tutorials, but just pictures to inspire me. So I'll type in Stampin' Up, Nothing's Better Than Stamp Set, which is one we'll get to shortly. And then I'll see all sorts of projects people have made to get ideas. So that was the first thing I wanted to show you. On the next page, the true page 1 by the numbering, this is a list of all the suites in the catalog. You're going to see the catalog more than me, and that's okay. Hey, sis-in-law, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so the suites are sets of products that coordinate. Everything with Stampin' Up coordinates really well, which is one of the reasons I love them. But the suites are going to be stamp sets, tools, embellishments, colors that all coordinate especially well together. They're basically in a theme. And so this lists all of them here, and it's really easy shopping because you can buy the items a la carte, or you can just with one SKU number order everything and you know it's all going to go together. At the bottom of this page, it references the accessories and more. At the back of the catalog, we'll get there. And then it also gives you a couple good icons to watch for. So this one especially, this is a 10% off icon, and that's for bundles. Bundles are stamp sets and then a tool. So usually either dies or punches. There are also some bundles that aren't stamp sets, and I'll get to those at the back of the catalog. But basically, they're items put together to save you money, to save you 10%. So watch for that icon throughout to save. And then this N in the red starburst there is for new products. So for those of you who've been loving Stampin' Up for a while and you want to know what's new in this catalog that could be that next thing for you, watch for that. All right, moving right along. Keep those comments coming. I love seeing you all out there. All right, so on page 3, I just wanted to bring your attention to not some product, but some project help here. So it says Stamp It Up, and it gives you some techniques and just quick descriptions of how to do those. I'm going to show you some cards later, and I'm going to talk about, let's see, the masking technique. I used that on one, and what was the other one? I used the markering technique and actually the Stampin' Off technique. So some great ways to get started trying some new things in your crafting. Let's see what's next here. I, of course, am looking at this upside down so that you can be looking at it right side up, so bear with me. Okay, so if you're new to Stampin' Up, this is a big catalog. It can be overwhelming. So what I recommend for new crafters or for even old crafters, or experienced crafters is what I should say, on the go, for instance, like if you're traveling, and we can travel again, kits are great. Hey, Celia. So there are 4 types of kits. There's the subscription kit. This is called Paper Pumpkin. Sorry, I'm going to get in here more than just half my face. I even got my mom into these, and she's in the other room listening. She is a great artist, but hadn't done much with crafts, and this was really accessible for her. They send the Paper Pumpkin once a month, and it has everything you need. I've done them in the car, obviously not while driving, but those are great for starting out. So are the all-inclusive kits. There's 2 in this catalog. And those, again, come with absolutely everything you need. The other 2 types of kits are project kits. We already talked about the subscription kits. So this comes with all the consumables, as we call it, and that would be things. Hey, Terry. Hey, Sally. The scavenger hunt is on this Facebook page in the post from this morning. So this comes with all the consumables I was saying, and that would be paper, embellishments, die cut pieces, everything that you will use when making the projects that you won't have leftovers of, if that makes sense. And then things that aren't consumable would be things like the ink, the stamp set, and then adhesives you do also have to add. But that's it, and then you have everything you need to make these projects. And all the kits come with instructions, which is great, because then if you aren't really sure what you want to do, it will show you how to do the things that you see here. The one exception are product medleys. Those don't come with instructions, because those are completely up to you. It comes with everything you need, I think, except for the cardstock, the ink, and the adhesive, but it would come with the stamp set, all those consumables. It often comes with tools, like this one comes with dies. And this also has a refill kit, so if you do run out of those consumables, like the specialty, what we call designer series paper, or DSP, you can get more of that. So those are kits, and those are all at the front of the catalog, pages 6 through 9. All right, moving along, we're going to get into the stamp sets. Now, a lot of stamp sets, I think this is where I'm going next. Yes, it is. Okay, a lot of stamp sets are traditionally feminine, and it can be hard to make traditionally masculine cards. And of course, we have Father's Day coming up, and you may have men in your life that you want to make birthday cards or other things for. And so on page 28, it says, let's hear it for the boys. And it has some traditionally masculine stamp sets from page 28 to 33. So I just wanted to point that out because that can be hard to find. I won't point out the traditionally feminine stamp sets because it would be almost all the other ones. All right, so then I wanted to point out this stamp set on page 44. It's called Itty Bitty Greetings. It's this one here, not the one on the top, but the one in the middle. I think this is the best stamp set for someone starting out because it has greetings for almost every occasion. Hey, Bethany. And they're very small, so it's a great way to add that sentiment to a card, and you'll have it for so many occasions, so many seasons, all in one set. There's also itty bitty other occasions, and we'll get to that. So I just wanted to point out a few of these stamp sets that I thought would be especially good for people getting started. And I'm going to point out some that are brand new for those of us who've been doing this for a while. But another, I think, major occasion for crafting, even for those who don't usually craft, is Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, or if not, at least just the winter season and the new year. And so starting on page 57 all the way to page 63 are all of the winter holiday, specifically Christmas more than anything, but there are a few others in there too, those stamp sets. And you can see here, there's an itty bitty Christmas. So like I said, there's a few itty bitties. Sorry, you can see me awkwardly peeking around the catalog. I just want to make sure you're seeing what I'm hoping you're seeing. All right, so many stamp sets. A few others I wanted to point out. I think we all send thank you cards, or at least want to send thank yous. And so this one is called Massive Thanks. So that would be another versatile one to have that I think you'd use often. And I just think it's really got a good sense of humor about it. It says things like, little card, massive thank you, or thank you, asterisk. Message on the cover may appear smaller than actual gratitude. I think that's fun. So lots of good humored sentiments in that one. And then of course you'll have stamp sets that are just images and some that are both. This is my favorite stamp set of the new catalog. Pay attention, remember? These are some hints for the scavenger hunt. So this is called Nothing's Better Than. I mentioned this earlier. And this is my favorite just because I think it's so fun. I love chocolate. I love cookies. I like cocktails. I don't like coffee, but I know a lot of other people do. And so I think this is really fun to be able to say things like, you're just like chocolate, you make everything better. So I love that one. Just wanted to point that one out since that's my fave. All right, I think I have another itty bitty coming up. Yep, so this is itty bitty birthdays. Birthday cards are the kind of thing I think we usually buy when we're out at the store shopping for a gift, and why not make one? Because then that's a gift in and of itself, that you took the time and energy and effort to make something with that person in mind. Okay, a couple references, and actually let me see how we're doing on time. Bethany, coffee, yeah, you're the coffee person. And tea, right? Okay, so on page, what page is this? I have it marked because I knew I wanted to come back to it. 114. You have this list here, and this is of distinctive stamps. Now, distinctive stamps are a special Stampin' Up type of stamp that makes like a photoreal finish. It has some distinction, so it's well named. You can see this is one of those stamp sets. So hopefully you can see, like in this image here, it may not show up well on this camera, but there's darker sections, there's lighter sections. And so just by stamping that one image with one ink color, you're gonna get some variation in dimension. So it really creates an artistic effect with you not having to do much, just stamp. All right, so that's one list I wanted you to know about. Another one is on page, again, I marked it, let me see, page 138. So these are the background stamps. So very quickly, very easily, this stamp is almost the size of a traditional card front, and you would get all that background. So you basically create your own designer series paper. Quick and easy. Now this stamp set on the opposite page, which I already forget which page we were on, otherwise I could just count up, right? Page 139. This is a great stamp set for a couple of reasons. Not only does it have the whole alphabet and some other symbols and little sayings, like I love the handcrafted just for you, that'd be great on the back of a card. But it also has this, where is it? C, Stampin' Up. So copyright Stampin' Up stamp. See that right there above my finger? So the reason that's important is if you want to sell the crafts you make with Stampin' Up's copyrighted images, you can. You just have to stamp it with that stamp, and then you can sell it online or at craft fairs or to friends, family, however you want to do that at a store if you have one. So it's part of Stampin' Up's angel policy. You just have to stamp it with that stamp. Oh, Terry, I'm on your TV. Wow. I feel famous. I'll sign autographs later. All right. What else do we have here? A couple more things in stamps, then we're going to be getting to, actually, no, that's it for stamps. Okay, so now we're getting to the back of the catalog where we have everything else. So here you can see it says take a sip. SIP stands for, SIP stands for, it's a tongue twister, stamps, ink, and paper. And those are the basic supplies, but there's so much more. So there's also coloring tools. There's the designer series paper, which again is paper, like you can see here, that has different designs on it. There's ribbon and trim and other embellishments, and that's all going to be back here starting on page 140. Elisa, sorry I'm pausing. Maybe it's the connection, but you'll be able to watch this on replay, and hopefully it'll be a much smoother transmission, if you will. All right, so I wanted to point out on page 142 to 143 all the color collections. Look at all these colors. I love color. And I think I was mentioning earlier, one of the things I love most about Stampin' Up is their color coordination. So if you buy, let's say, real red paper, it matches the real red ink and the real red embellishments perfectly. And so you don't have all these shades of red, which can make your card look more homemade. And there's nothing wrong with homemade, handmade. Obviously, that's what we're here for. But it can look much more polished and professional to have everything matching so well. I'm a matchy-matchy person, so I love that. So there's all these color collections, and here's the new one. So every 2 years, they come out with 5 new colors. They call them the in colors. And that's what I'm going to be featuring in my projects that I'm going to be showing you at 8:30. And if you've been watching along on my Facebook, then you have seen the first 4. I've been sneak peeking those over the last 3 days. But these are the 5 new in colors. We've got Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. I think Misty Moonlight, this one right here, is my favorite. Sorry, I keep pointing with my middle finger. I have a bad habit of doing that. I promise I don't mean anything by it. All right, so I mentioned earlier too that there are more bundles than just stamp sets and tools. So on page 144, you have the classic stamp pad bundles. Let me hold this up so you can see a little better. So those would be all 10 colors from a color collection, or all 5 colors from an in-color collection. Those would obviously be less expensive. And because those are bundled together, you're getting 10% off. Thank you all for helping troubleshoot, it sounds like, with one another. That's great. Thank you. Love this community with crafting. You also have the ink refill bundle. So you can buy ink refills not only to refill those pads, but also for different coloring techniques. So those are a couple more bundles on page 144. Trying to save you all money. I know I'm on a budget with this stuff, and it's hard because you want it all if you're me. Also wanted to point out that on page 152, I'm getting tongue-tied, Stampin' Up! Also sells packaging. So not just things to make cards, but you can make your own boxes and bags, or you can buy some and then decorate them. So I really especially like these little mini Stampin' Up! Shipping boxes, and now they have the new mini paper pumpkin boxes. So cute. I love any small version of anything big. If new people are coming in, go ahead and keep introducing yourselves and sharing your reactions and responses to everything you're seeing with us. And if you have questions, I may not be seeing all the comments, so I might not be able to get to all those. I'm just glancing at it occasionally, but I will come back and get to all of them after this event, I promise. Okay, another thing Stampin' Up! Does is scrapbooking. So I know for a lot of us that was our gateway into crafting. I know it was for me. So on page 154 and 155, sometimes I'm just showing you the starting page and it continues on for a few pages, but these 2 pages show you all sorts of not only scrapbooks and the pages that go in them, but then also cards and sticker packs to make that really easy. And those go with the suites that I mentioned earlier. So you can get other things to coordinate with those. You can even use those to make quick and easy cards. Thanks for sharing what you guys like, and I love seeing that. Thank you. Let's see what else here. Just a few more things. I mean, there's so many things, but just a few more I wanted to highlight. Okay, so these are the rest of the bundles. On page 168 to 169, you have the punch bundles. So these would be, yeah, you love the memories and more, Terry? Fun. These would be the stamp sets that will come with a punch. This is my favorite. I just ordered this today. It's called the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. Yeah. And in one punch, you get 6 different shaped labels. So 3 different sizes, 6 different shapes, all one punch. And you can bundle that with the stamp set it coordinates with and save 10%. And then, whoop, I think I'm skipping one. Yeah, okay. On page 173, all the way back here to page 179, these are the die bundles. So you would have to have a die cutting machine, but if you do have a die and emboss cutting machine, or die cutting and embossing machine, I should say, or if you are going to get one, because Stampin' Up! Is coming out with theirs, it's in this catalog and it should be available later this year, we're hoping very soon, then you can use dies to cut out images, and those could be detailed images like what you see here. It could be shapes like the labels you see here. And again, if you bundle those with the coordinating stamp set, save 10%. All right, so a couple other things. Wanted to tell you guys about rewards, another way to save money. So on page 186 and 187, it talks about hosting. And specifically on 187, it has this chart. I'll try to hold it close. Well, it's going to be hard to get too close. I'll just tell you. Or you can look in your catalog. So if you host a party, or if you yourself spend $150, so again, that could be you buying $150 or more worth of product, or hosting a party where you and your guests spend that amount, or maybe just they spend that amount, then you start earning rewards. And rewards start at 10%, but they go all the way up to 16% of the total order cost, so you're guaranteed at least $15 in free product, and it goes up from there. Also, this month, if you spend $250, or again, get a group that will spend that, then you're going to get double the rewards, because Stampin' Up! Is doing an extra incentive for the month of June. Also, you can earn 50% off of an item, and that can include bundles, I believe. Yes, it does. So that can be an extra deal that you can get from, again, either spending or hosting an event where others spend. So that's good to know. And you can also earn these host sets, which are exclusive and a lower price if you are an event host and you have that qualifying order. And then if you're really interested in getting savings or doing this more often, like as a business, then you can become a demonstrator. So for $99, you get a starter kit, but that starter kit has $125 worth of product in it that you choose. So this is all on page 188. It tells you all about that opportunity. And right now, again, for the month of June, Stampin' Up! Is doing an extra incentive where you get to pick a free bundle as well as that $125 worth of product that you're only spending $99 for. The shipping is also free. They give you a free paper pumpkin kit and all sorts of business supplies. So it is such a deal. And then you get a 20% discount and up to 25% and early access to things like this catalog. I've had access for a month and all sorts of incentives, even if you're just doing this as a hobbyist, but then certainly if you're doing it as a business. So if you have questions about hosting or becoming a demonstrator, please feel free to reach out and I'm happy to talk with you more about it. But I just wanted to give an overview for people who aren't already familiar with that. And then lastly, these last few pages of the catalog from 189 to 192 are the indexes. So if you're looking up a stamp set by name, you're not sure where to find it, you can do that here. And there's an accessories index on the last page. So that's it. That's 192 pages in 20 minutes. We did pretty well. So much more to see. I, again, would love to hear what you guys are liking most from the catalog, so you can comment here now or later, whether you're watching this live or in replay. I think because we're so close to 8:30, I'm just going to keep this video going, because to be honest, I'm worried that if I don't, I won't get it back. Because if you were here at the start, it was not working to start for the first few minutes. So we're just going to keep it going. So I'll be doing a product demonstration. If anyone has any questions, I do want to wait till 8:30 to see if others join us, since that's when I had advertised that that would begin. So feel free to post your questions or your comments, and I'll try to respond to some of those. Oh yes, Bethany loves the Wheel of a Time suite. Here, I'll go ahead and show you all that. That's my mom's favorite too. I was actually just showing her that the other day. I think she's going to get it. So this is what a suite gets you. So with this suite, and this suite I think is actually the best deal of all the suites. It's only $65.50 for the whole thing. And here's what you get. You get the Whale Done bundle. Love the puns, by the way. I know, Bethany, that's probably part of the reason you like it too. We're both into that, yeah. So the Whale Done bundle comes with a stamp set, which I'll show you. It's right here. This is on pages 94 to 96. So there's a stamp set. Some good puns in there. Hopefully you can see that okay. And it comes with this, what is it called? The Whale Builder Punch. You can see that little picture there. Oh, you want me to read the sayings? Yeah, like, whale done. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. That's my favorite. Hoping all your birthday fishes come true. It's fun. So you get that bundle. You get the Whale of a Time sequins. I don't know if you guys can see these, but there are pink shell-shaped sequins. How fun is that? As well as some other colors in just the traditional circle shape too. You get the Whale of a Time Designer Series paper. I love this paper. Look at that down there. Those are all the colors that are in the paper. Love, love, love it. Can you use a stamp that has Stampin' Up! On it instead of using the angel stamp? Oh, good question, Terry. Back to the angel policy. It just has to have that C for copyright, Stampin' Up! As long as you have one that says that, you're good to sell it. So back to the Whale of a Time suite, you'd also get this Seabed 3D embossing folder. Hopefully you can see what that does to the paper. I'll try to look at that background. That's an embossing folder. Again, you would need the machine, but oh, love that. And then you get the sheer ribbon, which is right here. And I believe that's in Pool Party, yeah. So you get all that for $65.50, so that's a suite. You can see all these great project examples. If you ever see project examples in the catalog that you want to recreate, as a demonstrator, I have access to lists of all the supplies used and some basic instructions, especially if there's a special technique. So I can share that with you if you're like, I have to know how to make that project on page 95, that, you know, blue card with the turtle and I can let you know. All right, so we're gonna get started. I see Lisa, you're back, good. So 8:30, we're gonna get started with our product demonstration. Now, I just realized I have no idea how I'm gonna do this because I ended up having to use my phone instead of my computer as planned. So I might be holding my phone and working with my other hand. It's gonna be interesting, but we're gonna make it work. That's okay, that's what you have to do sometimes, right? So I'm gonna pull everything over here that I'm using tonight. Before I show you how to make this project I'm doing tonight, I wanted to show you, if you hadn't been watching my sneak peek posts, what led up to this. So I got the Flowers for Every Season Memories and More cards. This is what they look like when you get them. White on the inside and one of the in colors. So again, we've got Misty Moonlight, Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Bumblebee, and you're about to see the fifth one, Cinnamon Cider. So those cards, and they are a little bigger than normal. I think they're 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. I can double check that. But that's what I used to make these cards that I was giving you sneak peeks of the last few days. So I started with the simplest card. Hey Jill, I'm glad you could join us. So this is the Misty Moonlight, and this is just that SIP, stamps, ink, and paper. So I used the white craft ink and just stamped that right on the card to keep it really simple. Hey sis, so glad you're here. And you can see on the back, I have my brand stamp. Hopefully it's not backwards, maybe it's backwards, sorry if it is, but Hannah Crafted Gifts. I got that, designed it and got it from Renee's husband, Tom. Thanks again, Tom. All right, so the next card I did, still what I would say is simple stamping, just the basic stamp, ink, and paper. But this one I did use a technique. So I had this Post-it note, which I stuck inside so I could access it when I needed to. And I put this, like for instance, along the bottom of the card. I also did it on the sides. And that way I could stamp, because my stamp was longer here, and obviously it was longer here and here. And I could stamp without stamping outside this white box that comes on the card. So it looks like the image continues on. And I like that these cards say, every little kindness makes the world brighter. These are from the fronts, as I call them. So Waterfront, Snowfront, and then My Meadow, which I think should have been called Meadowfront personally. But those are 3 of my favorite stamp sets. They all carried over to this new catalog. You might have seen the envelope flash here. These are great envelopes that come with this pack too, because they all have the liner built in with the color and a pattern. Hopefully you can see those little spots, dots. Okay, so my next 2 cards, those were the cards I posted Monday. Yesterday, Tuesday, I posted stepped up cards. So these have obviously a multicolored image. They have layering. I cut out this part of the card and then layered the white under and on top. They used a punch. I actually punched twice and then cut the one punch in half so that I could separate it and create this frame on the sentiment. And then the sentiment's up on dimensional, so I have some dimension there popping it out. Hopefully you can see that. So that is a stepped up card, and this one says, friends make the good times better, and when you open it up, and the hard times easier. So that was my stepped up card, and this one's very similar, but I did a technique with this one as well, that markering technique where I took a marker to color in the sentiment stamp, so that way I could get 2 colors, a 2-tone image on one stamp. Hopefully you saw the theme here. I went winter, summer, spring, fall. And those of you who commented on those before tonight's event, you are entered to win prizes at 9 o'clock, so make sure you stay on or come back at 9 and see what you won. Okay, so this is the 5th and final card, which I'm going to hopefully be demonstrating tonight, albeit one-handed. We're going to see how that goes. But this is it. So this is the most stepped up card. Hopefully you can see it looks like a window. I used the stitched shaped dies, a tongue twister again. I used the smallest square and ran it through my machine to cut out these 6 panes, so to speak. I also used an embossing folder, the Pinewood Planks embossing folder. Hopefully you can see that texture. You can feel it too if you were here. And then I took that craft white ink pad again and I ran it across so that I could get some kind of whitewashing to my wood. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like it. You can maybe see that there's vellum behind the window to kind of be like frosted glass, because this is obviously a kind of cold scene. And then I've stamped on Whisper White, which I'm going to do tonight, all the trees and the birds. I did stamp these 2 cardinals on a separate sheet of paper and then fussy cut them out just so they would pop a little bit more. I could have just masked them so that way they would be on the branches and there wouldn't be branches going through them or in front of them. And I love the sentiment on this one. It says, "Love never gives up." And I've embellished it with some of the crinkle seam binding ribbon and these little real red rhinestones. So that's what I'm going to be making with you tonight. So let's see here how to do this. I've got my stamps behind you, so I'm going to reach around for those. I think what I may have to do, y'all, is I might be able to tilt you. Oh, this is sort of going to work. Not as well as I had hoped, but we're going to try it. Oh, see, that my phone fell. Okay, so I tilted too far. Sorry, this didn't work like I had planned. I don't want to move you too far away. Okay, you're just going to awkwardly see my chin and hopefully my work surface, and I'll hold things up as much as possible, okay? Okay, so here, first let me show you what I have here. Maybe I can at least do that. Ah, okay, good. So here's all my supplies. Stand up so you can see them. So that's everything I'm going to be using. I'll talk you through what I use when. Okay, this is so low tech. I need to hire and pay a tech person. I have a feeling that could be my husband. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and die cut. I wanted to have all the pieces prepped for us. This time I wanted to show you, I actually put the craft white ink on the embossing folder so you can see maybe a slightly different look than where I dragged it across the card. This one's a little bit more like homogeneous across the whole thing, and this one has like the streaks. So just a different way of doing it. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside, set my envelope aside, and whoop, I may have lost a little birdie. Uh-oh, hopefully we'll find him. Moved too quick. All right, if I don't find him, I'll make another one later. Ah, there he is, okay, good. All right, so I'm using real red ink, and I'm gonna start by stamping my 3 little birds flying away. So these are also supposed to be cardinals. I've got my sheet of Whisper White, which is going to fit just inside that window that I've created. Okay, and I'm going to start in the upper right corner, or sorry, upper left corner. Let's see, I need my sample so I see what I'm doing. All right, and this kind of helps me know where to place everything. All right, so that worked pretty well. There's my little birds. And while I have the red out, actually, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Sorry to reach around you. All right, so love never gives up. Such a good saying. All the sayings are from Waterfront, and then the scenes are from Snowfront and My Meadow, like I said. All right. Whew, glad that worked, because I did not bring an extra of this die cut. This was also the stitched shapes dies, and this was the smallest oval that I used for the sentiment. So I'm glad that worked. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to do my trees. So I'm using basically the equivalent of Early Espresso. This is actually a retired brown, but I don't have the full-size Early Espresso yet. I really need to get that. So in the meantime, I'm going to use this one. You could absolutely use Early Espresso and get very similar look. So I'm going to do my little trees first. I'm just inking that up, lightly tapping. I know a lot of you are pros. You've been doing this longer than me, so sorry if you know. And if you know a better way, comment. Let me know. Let us all know. I'm open to your tips. All right, so I'm just looking at my card to see where exactly I placed my trees in relation to my birds. I know I stamped the trees twice. I think I'm going to start by stamping them towards the middle. All right, it worked. And then I'm going to ink up again. If I didn't ink up a second time, that would be Stampin' Off, which I realized I forgot to show you. On this card, I used that technique as well. So I stamped the trees once with full ink to get that really rich color. And then without re-inking, I stamped again to get kind of the fallen leaves under the trees. And you can see it's a lighter color. So you get some color variation with just one set of ink pads. So that's that Stampin' Off technique. But I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to ink it up again and just layer one set of trees on top of the other. Yay! Okay. Oh, I've been doing this for 3 years now, something like that. And every time I stamp and it goes well, I'm so pleased. It's like the first time all over again. I'm like, I can't believe I did it. I feel like I'm talking so much. I wish I could hear you all, but I'm so glad you're there watching. Thank you so much. Again, whether you're watching live or on replay, I so appreciate your support. This is so fun to get to do this, and so thank you for making that possible. All right, so now I'm going to stamp my big tree. So you can see, I should show you. I've got my birds. I've got my 2 sets of little trees kind of in the background, and now I'm going to stamp my big tree. Make sure my ink is fresh on there. And it's okay to stamp off the card a little bit. It just looks like your image continues, especially because this is a window. So we know that the image continues, right? The world goes on. So, oh good, I'm not getting ink on the back, okay. My mat here is kind of an improvised mat, and it's a little shiny, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't smudging on the back here. So there you go. So now, I think I'm done stamping. Whew, what a relief. That's always nerve-wracking to do live. Whether it's at an event or on a tutorial or on this, my first Facebook Live. All right, so now I'm going to be able to start assembling my card. So the first thing I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to move this out of the way. And I think I'm going to move this sheet I was stamping on because, again, I don't want to have anything smudge. I know it is hard to get the images straight, isn't it, Jill? I have trouble with that too, but sometimes you just embrace it and you're like, I didn't mean to have it straight, and you just go with the crooked. All right, so I'm using my vellum first. This is a frosted clear sheet, and that's going to be my window. So I'm opening up my card, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the very edge because I've cut this such that it is just bigger. Hopefully you can see that. Just bigger than my window pane. I actually cut it so it's like just the size of the square with these white dots, which I think was 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just going to put that little bit of glue around the outside edge. Oh, thank you, Elisa. That is so sweet. I really can't tell you how much y'all's support means to me. It means so much. All right, I've decided I'm going to put the glue on the card instead of on the vellum. I'm remembering when I made my first sample, that's what I did. I think that's a little safer because glue can smudge, and that's okay. That's what adhesive removers are for, or adhesive erasers. But if they smudge on the vellum, it's really hard to recover that since it's like a clear sheet, kind of like the foils. If you use the metallic foils, those are not very forgiving if you get extra glue. All right, so I've put glue not only around the edge but also on the lines between my panes of glass. All right, so now I'm going to lay my vellum down on top of that. Again, sorry you can't see it real well, or see me real well. I was hoping to have more of a bird's eye view here, but alas, it didn't work out. I'm just so glad that our internet connection has worked so far. I was really worried about that, but it seems like most of you have been able to be here, and again, you can always watch it on replay too. All right, so I'm just gently pushing down on the glue all the way around. And now I've got my window. Look at that. Hi. Oh man, so silly. Okay, so now I have my 2 little birds. I mentioned these earlier, but I don't think I showed you. They are teeny tiny. Love them. So I stamped those before. I'm losing it, y'all. And I fussy cut those out. And now I'm going to glue those into my big tree here in the foreground. Yeah, this could be a good Christmas card. Hey, Sandy, I'm so glad you came. Welcome. Yeah, cardinals are certainly very Christmas. The real red is very Christmassy. It's kind of a cold-looking scene. So you could substitute the sentiment for like, Merry Christmas, and it would totally work. All right, so I'm gluing one little birdie, and I'm going to glue the other bird looking down at him as he's looking up at her. You know, my last name is Byrd, so I love anything with birds, especially if it's romantic. That seems kind of strange, maybe, but it's me and my husband, we're the lovebirds. All right. Actually, before I got into Stampin' Up, I had the idea of creating a card brand and calling it Messenger Byrd, BYRD cards. But didn't stay with it. All right, so there we go. So I've got my birds in the tree looking at one another. So my scene, my background scene is all set. Thanks, sister. My sister thinks I'm cute. When your younger sister thinks you're cute, I don't know what that says, but that's sweet, very sweet. All right, so now I'm gonna put glue right on top of my vellum, but again, only around the edge of the window, so not where you're actually gonna see the vellum through, hopefully. My hand's not quite steady right now. And I'm also gonna put it on those lines between the window panes. While I'm doing this, you could win this card. I know. Oh, and when you glue this down, make sure you glue it facing the right way, right? So it looks like it's going upside down for me, but trust me, this is the right way. But you always want to check that. You wouldn't want an upside down scene. So the way you can win this card is I'm going to be posting tonight's video on my YouTube channel, Hannah Crafted Gifts. And if you go there and you start the video and you like it, so you click the little like button, that will enter you to win this card. And you have all month to do it. So I will be drawing that prize on July 1st. So I will get that post probably up in the next day or so. And if by the 1st, well, if by the 30th, because I'll draw on the 1st, you have gone to YouTube, Hannah Crafted Gifts, found this video, started it and liked it, then you could win this card. All right, and you're welcome to subscribe, but that's not required to win the card. Yay! There you have it. I lost one little bird, but that's okay. That's not too bad. I got my two main birds in frame there. So we're almost done. We're gonna add our sentiment. Love never gives up. Oh, I only look left-handed because the camera's backwards. I'm right-handed. All right, so I'm gonna use my sequins. I've got these real red, or sorry, basic jewels. They're like rhinestones, not sequins. So I'm gonna put a few of those on before I add my sentiment. I'm gonna use my take your pick tool and the little spatula end to pick those up. Just makes it a lot easier because these are teeny tiny and easy to lose. So I'm gonna put one kind of like it's a period on the sentence. Love never gives up, period. And then it's often good to use what I'll call the rule of odds. So odd numbers, like this time I'm gonna use 3, or if it was a bigger piece, I might use 5, but usually odd numbers are better than even numbers, which is hard for me to accept, but it's true artistically. As well as like triangles, if you can put things kind of in a triangle. So that's why I've put 2 kind of like they're on either end, but then the one like the period, it ends up being kind of a triangle and that odd number. So that is the sentiment. I'm going to put that up on dimensionals again to pop it out. So I've got my dimensionals here. I'm just going to put a couple of those on the back. All right, and then I can peel the sticker side off, and I'm going to put that right over. You can see there's like a big blank space on my card, so I'm going to put it right there to cover that up. I also kind of smudged it, and I think it's going to cover that up too, which is great. That's the thing when you make mistakes. You can usually fix them or cover them, or sometimes they turn into something better than what you originally planned anyway, which is the best. Love when that happens. All right. So there's that. So now one last thing, I've got my ribbon. Now on this one, it was white. That's how the ribbon comes, Whisper White. But you can also color it. So I used my Stampin' Up marker in real red. Sorry, there's my rest of my face. And I colored this little bit of ribbon. And I'm going to see how that looks on there. I just realized my glue's open, so I'm going to close that up. But one trick, I know tying bows gets a lot of people. And sometimes it's just hard because of your hands. But one trick I have found is if you just make a loop, and then tie them together instead of trying to tie like a traditional bow where you tie a knot and then tie the bow. That can make it a little easier. I'm going to move it down a little bit because I want to make sure I have enough space on the end there. But it's like when you're a kid and you learn like make a bunny ear, make a bunny ear, and then you tie your bunny ears together. I don't know if y'all learned that as a kid. I think there's even like the bunny goes around the tree and into the burrow or something, but I don't remember that part. I just remember the bunny ears. All right. I kind of thought if I did this in red, not only would it pop more, but the two ends of the bow could look a little bit like a heart. Maybe that's a stretch, but I think this red is going to be good. I like it. Okay, so I find the best way to attach ribbon. Let me just check the time. Doing great. We're doing great. Okay, 10 more minutes till prizes. Our glue dots. So I've got these glue dots from a paper pumpkin. You can buy them on the roll and they're a little easier to use. But off a little acetate sheet like this, like you get them with the paper pumpkin kits, because those even come with adhesive. I'm going to use my take your pick tool and just peel a couple of these off. Oh, and I just realized my trick. I forgot my trick. So I did this on this one too. So you can see I tucked the ribbon under the window seam. And I forgot when I did it the first time too to leave space for that. So hopefully I'm going to be able to slide my spatula under here between the vellum and the cardstock and just create a little space. Yes, I think I got it. I don't want to rip anything at this point, especially, but just making sure you can see what's happening here, or at least see something. Yeah, okay, so I was able to get my spatula under there. That's a great use for this, actually, and kind of pry that glue away because it was soon enough. So now I'm going to be able to slip the ends of the ribbon under there. All right, so I'm going to take my glue dot off my sheet. For those of you who are demonstrators, and you've had access to this catalog stuff, I'd love to hear maybe the first thing you ordered or the first thing you made or hope to make or hope to order if you haven't quite gotten there yet, so that other people can get even more suggestions. So feel free to comment those. I'm just making sure my ribbon is going to end up on the front where I want it. And it's going to be a little long, so I'm just going to trim. Hey, Misty! Good to see ya. Those of you who are joining, you can always go back and watch the beginning here, or at least listen to it, because again, you're not seeing much. I know that. I'm sorry. I will show you what I can when I can here. So here, let me try actually. Let's see if I can do the flip again. Not gracefully. Sorry to see my palm. Okay. So where is it? There it is. So I've put the glue dot on the end of the ribbon there, and that's just going to tuck under. So there you go. Some of you are saying ordered so much. Yeah, when there's so many exciting new things, it's hard to choose. So you just choose it all. All right, so I'm gonna get this down. And I am gonna talk about ordering here in a minute for those of you who aren't demonstrators and are just getting to see the new catalog and would like to place some orders. You can certainly do so. I'll tell you how, and you could earn chances to win some, I think, valuable prizes. I hope you will too. All right, so I have to make sure that this doesn't show up in my window. I don't want to see ribbon poking behind the window, and it looks like I'm good there. All right, so now I just have to do the other side. Oh, let me make sure it's not too long, because I did cut it what I thought was probably a little extra long. Yeah. Now this is going to show up more on the inside. You'll see the red, whereas on this one you don't really see the white too much on the inside. It kind of disappears. If that bothered you, you could just put a whole sheet of Whisper White to cover that whole inside panel, and that way you wouldn't see anything. But I don't really mind it. All right, now I've got that cut down to size. Get my glue dot. We are so close, y'all. Thanks so much for staying with me. All right, so glue dot on the ribbon, pull off the sticker, place it down. Again, between the vellum for the glass, so to speak, and the scene. Just gotta tuck it in there. And then I'll probably glue the scene back down so that those edges, those corners aren't kind of peeling back, revealing the ribbon, but I'll clean that up later. I won't make you guys watch me do that. I just wanted to get it together here. Now I am going to put one last glue dot. You can see it's almost done. I'm going to put one last glue dot here under the knot of the bow just to keep that in place. As you can see, it's kind of falling. So I've got my mini glue dots. You've got the full-size glue dots, the mini glue dots, when you do paper pumpkins at least. Sometimes you get one or the other or both. I think the ones in the catalog are just the one size. But you do have the two sizes of dimensionals. So you've got mini dimensionals as well as the regular dimensionals. Man, sometimes these stickers are hard to peel off. Okay, good. And this is not quite as tight as I would like it to be, so I'll probably play around with that later too. But I'm just making sure right now that it doesn't cover my sentiment too much and it's straight. Thanks for bearing with me while I play around. If you're watching this in replay, you're welcome to skip ahead. I can be a little particular. That's my problem. That's why it takes me a long time. And when you have a rogue glue dot or dimensional, that can take you longer. All right. So I will tighten this up later, but there you go. I like the red. What do you think? Do you guys like the red or the white better? I like both, but I think I like the red better. So there you go. So again, let me tilt this back up and we'll talk prizes because it's about that time. 3 minutes, okay. So you can win this card or this card, one of these two. All you have to do when I post this video, which I will post to all my sites. I'll post it on YouTube, I'll post it on my website, I'll post it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'll probably post to Pinterest. But just come back to this Facebook page, that's the easiest thing. Click the link to my blog post, you'll be able to watch the YouTube video. You don't have to rewatch the whole thing, because you obviously already watched it. But just start the video, like it by clicking like, and you can subscribe, but you don't have to. All you have to do is start the video on YouTube and like it to be entered to win that card, okay? So now to our other prize drawings. But actually, before we get there, one other thing. Sorry, I keep teasing you. If you want to place an order from the new catalog, you can do that anytime. You go to StampinUp.com to shop, step 1. I have a host code this month. So, oh, I'm on my phone. Well, that's not going to work. Let me pull up that host code. I will be putting that host code in the comments for this video, so you can find it there because it's going to be hard to remember. But let me pull it up here. You enter the host code at checkout. Get ready with a pen or pencil because this will not be easy to remember. The host code is the number 2, the letter B as in boy, Q as in question, the number 7, D as in dog, S as in snake, 49. So if you enter that host code at checkout, that helps me, so thank you. If you're going to spend $150 or more, though, don't enter that because I want you to earn the rewards. So then all you have to do after that is choose Hannah Byrd as your demonstrator, and you're all set. And I'll talk more about some prizes you could win by placing an order in a minute. And you can actually earn double the chances to win a prize if you place your order through my group order. So I will be placing a group order on July 1st. So if you send me what you would like by June 30th, then I will order it for you. You will likely save on shipping. So just send me what you want to order. We'll talk about how we can process payment virtually, and then I'll deliver that to you as soon as it arrives. So that gives you some extra time to look through the catalog, or if you're just willing to wait a little while, again, you can save on shipping and you'll have double the chances to win a prize, which again, I'll talk about in just a moment. But I wanted to put that out there about how you can order. So, prizes. Here we go. So the way I wanted to do this is based on those of you who commented in the posts leading up to tonight, okay? Those of you who commented on my winter card could win my winter card. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a name randomly from those of you who posted for that card. Drum roll. Renee! So Renee wins the winter card. Congratulations, Renee. So this will be coming to you with the coordinating envelope. So simple stamping. There you go. All right, next up is the summer card. Whoop. Summer card. And if you haven't seen those comments, go check them out, because I had people comment on what occasions they craft for in those seasons, or would or could craft for in those seasons. So there's some good ideas, some creative ones, not just your traditional holidays. So you can't win twice. So if I pulled the same person's name, so Renee, if I pull you again, you've already won. So we're going to see who wins this next summer card, okay? My mom, Gina. Oh, and she loves summer. It's her favorite season, so that's great. You hear that, Mom? So she's winning summer. Okay, next up, spring. So these get into the stepped up cards. So we'll see. Renee, are you jealous? Is that what your no is? Okay, there were a lot more comments on this one, so I've got a lot to shuffle here. Shuffle and shuffle and shuffle, and this is for spring. So yeah, go back and look at those comments. Oh, one popped out. I'm going to go with it. Christine, that's my sister. I promise this is not rigged. So Christine, you won spring. So happy for you. That will be coming to you, probably via Mom. All right, and then lastly, for now, again, there's some more prizes I want to announce in a minute, but lastly is fall. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. Sorry, I'm going to really have to reach around the computer on this one. Draw on fall. There it is. Make sure I get them all. And again, you can only win once, so this is going to have to be someone else. And only my mom and sister were entered, so I promise it can't be another family member. Nothing was rigged. Everything was meant to be random. I'm shuffling. I'm not even going to look. I'm not even going to look this time. In fact, I'm going to throw them up in the air, and whichever one lands most in front of me is going to, or whichever one I can catch. How about that? Let's try that. That'll be fun. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I caught like 3. I'm going to throw them again. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, my sister again. Well, that doesn't count. And the other one closest to me was my sister. Okay, the next closest one to me. Jill! Congratulations, Jill! You won fall. All right, so I will be sending those out to my 4 winners. Thank you so much for commenting. For those who place an order or who participate in the scavenger hunt, okay, so there are 3 ways to enter to win these next prizes. You can play my scavenger hunt, which was in the post from this morning, so it's here on the page. So click on that scavenger hunt and use your catalog. Use this beginning of this video where we did the catalog tour, lots of hints in there. Every correct answer equals a drawing entry. And I think there's up to 22 points available on that, so that's a lot of prize entries. So play that. You have till June 30th. The second way you can be entered to win a prize is by placing an order on your own through StampinUp.com, using that host code, which is in the comments or will be soon, and selecting Hannah Byrd as your demonstrator checkout. Place that order by June 30th, and you will be entered. For every $1 you spend, you'll have an entry to the prize drawing, okay? And then the third way to be entered to win the prize is to place an order through me, through the group order that I'm going to place on July 1st. So you just have to wait a little longer. You'll probably save on shipping, and you'll be entered. For every $1 you spend, you'll have 2 entries to win the prize. All this will be in the comments if you are confused, because I know it's a lot. But here's what you're playing for, y'all, or buying for, okay? Your choice of handmade home decor. So some of you made this at my event. Oop, getting some glare. Some of you made this at my event. Can I make my screen black so you don't see it? Probably, but I don't know how. I had an event in March right before everything stopped, and we made this piece of home decor. Obviously you can see it says home, and the O is interchangeable. So right now it's set to summer because that's our season. And on the back you have Velcroed your spring, winter, and fall. So you can interchange the O's with each season. So those are just Velcroed, and it is a shadow box, so it's got glass. That's why I'm getting the glare to protect it from getting dusty. So this is a 5x7 frame, and you have decor for all seasons. And you might recognize these stamp sets and these scenes, very similar to what I used on my cards that we just raffled off. So that is one option for your prize. You can choose that if you win. Or if maybe you already have that because you came to my event in March, or you just want something new because that is using returning and even some retired product, then you could choose this piece of home decor. So this is a wreath using the, I think it's called Forever Fern. Correct me if I'm wrong, Renee, I know that's her favorite, so she would know, and I actually borrowed hers to make this. But I used the dies to cut out all of these pieces of foliage, and I stamped many of them. Some of them I sponged. And you can see I've got flowers on here. That uses the Cinnamon Cider New In Color and the small bloom punch to punch those out. And I used some pearl embellishments. And actually, this shadow box came with these pearl pins, so I've just pinned those in place. They're not adhered, so you could actually swap those out for each season too, to have like a new flower for each season of the year, whatever flower would be blooming. So that is your other option. You could choose the wreath, and this is a 6x6 shadow box. So your choice. Play the scavenger hunt, place your orders, or send your group orders to me for your best chance to win. Again, you have till June 30th to get all that in, because I will be drawing those prizes and posting the winners on July 1st. So you could win the card, or you could win the home decor, or you could win both. Go for it. So that's it. I'll be posting some of those details in the comments here, like the host code and some other things, just to refresh you all so you don't have to rewatch this video. Thank you all so much again for being here live and bearing with the technical difficulties, and for all your encouraging comments. For those of you watching on replay, again, please comment and engage. We've got all month to explore, well, really all year to explore this new catalog, right? But all month to kind of keep this celebration going. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If I'm forgetting anything, I will comment it, and hope to see you all in person as soon as possible. All right, take care.